Welcome to the video on installation of SQL Server. So in this training, we will see how to connect to SQL Server instance and work with the data which is in the SQL Server database. To do that, we need to install SQL Server on our machines. If you have access to SQL Server and if you can use the data, great, you don't have to do it. But in case you don't have it, this video will show you how to install SQL Server database on our machines. SQL Server is the database server by Microsoft. We'll see how to install an instance of SQL Server on our local machine. The most convenient version of SQL Server to install is SQL Server Developer Edition. The two main reasons why one would prefer SQL Server Developer Edition. The first reason is that it's fully featured. That means it has all the features that a SQL Server enterprise product would have. Enterprise product is the ultimate version of SQL Server with all the features. So your developer edition has all the features that a enterprise product has. And second reason why we would prefer it, that it's free. Totally free. There's no cost associated. We don't even have to put our credit card information. The reason why it is free is that you cannot use it for any production scenarios. But for training and learning, this is the ideal choice. So how do we download it? So let's go to the browser, okay, and I'm going to type SQL Server Developer Edition. Okay, and I go to SQL Server Downloads. We are interested in Developer Edition. This is the one. We are using SQL Server 2019 version. So let's download it. Let's start installing. Okay, so SQL Server Edition is getting installed. Now you have an option here, basic, custom, and download media. Okay, we'll go with custom. So I'm going to change it to D drive. And I say install. Let it install. So installation has launched a wizard. Let's go to installation. And I'm going to click on New SQL Server Standalone Installation. So clicking of this will launch SQL Server Standalone Installation Wizard. Okay, so you can choose which free version edition you want to. I want Developer Edition. Okay, I go next. I accept all the terms and conditions. It's performing check. I click on next. Click next. So we have hit Windows firewall warning. This is purely because Windows 10 has firewall enabled, right? So that's not a problem. Let's move ahead. Click on next. Okay, so now we need to choose the products which we want to install. So I need to select the features. I'm going to select database engine services. I don't want machine learning services for now. And we want, along with database engine, let's select analysis services as well. We don't want any shared features. Now let's move to the next screen. Okay, I'm going to create a named instance called Learn SQL. I don't want the default one. I'll have my own. I call it as Learn SQL. Click on next. So it's a server configuration screen. Let's not make any changes here. Let's keep it as it is. I'm going to click on next. So here we need to enter the login details. So first you need to add the default Windows authentication. You can say add current user. So whichever user you have logged into the Windows, same user will be added. I have logged in using HP, so I have logged in using HP. And I also want to create a system administrator account, or we call it as SA account. So I have selected mixed mode and I've entered my password. And you have to confirm the password, click on next. Okay, you need to add current user again here. And since the analysis will be mostly on tabular mode, I've selected tabular mode here. Now I click on next. So everything is ready for the installation and I click on install. So all the services, all the database that I have created, okay, all the usernames which I have added before will be now created, okay, and added to this learn SQL instance of SQL Server. So it's going to take some time to install everything that we mentioned. Let it take its own time. Okay, so my installation is complete. You can see everything is succeeded, right? It means our installation is completely done. So now we can close this window. One more thing we need to install, that is called as SQL Server Management Studio. So SQL Server Management Studio is through which you can connect to the database and we can perform all the database related operations like creating a table or performing select query, insert update query using Management Studio. So to install that, click on Install SQL Server Management Tools. This has taken us to SQL Server Management Studio download page. So I go and I click on free download for SQL Server Management Studio. It's getting downloaded. So now download is complete. We'll double click on the exe to start the installer. Okay, so we have this installer screen opened up and I want to install in C drive itself. So I'm going to click on install now. So as I said earlier, we are going to install SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, so we are done with the installation. It is asking us to restart. I'm going to restart it later. So once you restart, your SQL Server database as well as SQL Server Management Studio softwares are installed and available for use. That's all the software we need for now. So we'll see you in next video.